Hi. Good afternoon. What's going on? Fidelis here. What's up? Listen, today we're going to talk about relationships. So not necessarily relationships in terms of like marriage, girlfriend, boyfriend, but in all aspects of relationships, but particularly those, okay? So that's what we want to talk about. But how is everybody doing? What's happening? What's going on in your side of town? What's happening? Check in. Let's take a minute to share this, okay? Share this with our people. Let's follow each other. Let's see what's going on. Let's motivate our community. Let's keep sharing this. Just a second as I share this. So, but what's up? What's happening? Happy Thursday. You know? Just a second. So what's up? What's happening? So listen up. So, particularly this week, but lately, I've been chatting with people in regards of relationships. You know, there are people that are really going through it. There are people that are even realizing that they're in wrong relationships. There are people that are even reaching out saying, oh man, I did not understand that this relationship wasn't deep enough. It's shallow. There are people that rushed into relationships without understanding or because they know or they don't know how to be alone or whatnot, okay? So we are kind of going to have a conversation right along those realms. Particularly in terms of conversations, how to have conversations. You know, see, this whole quarantine has brought about so much distress to people, you know? But the challenge is this. There has not been a time in many people's lives where they have spent this much time together, even if it's a relationship. And by the way, that includes even marriage relationships. For some, this is the first time they are spending a lengthy amount of time together. So you realize that the more time you're spending together, in a long run, you're gonna get caught up in terms of the depth of your conversations. What are you talking about versus what are you isolating not to talk about? Okay? So, how patient are you just with yourself? And then, how patient are you with your emotions? Okay? Are you polite? Are you humble? Okay? Do you seek to understand before you understood? Okay? Are you one of those that just diffuses the situation? Or are you the one who just adds more fuel to the situation? Are you paying attention to the mechanism in which your character displays? Okay? So, take a minute. Think about that for a second. You know, but the good thing about this too, it will be good to get some feedback from you guys. You know, what are the challenges? What's happening? What's going on? Okay? And then towards the end, I will share a story or two. You know, how I dealt with this challenge a couple years ago. A lot of years ago, maybe. So yeah, men, relationships. You know, there's one thing people forget. You know, relationships are two strangers coming together to make something work. You know, human personalities are often, we're like in a continued growth in that aspect, okay? Particularly if you're younger, if you're a kid, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, maybe 10, 11 even. You know, you're playing together, it doesn't even matter, your behaviors don't really affect your friendship, your relationships. You know, your whole personality doesn't really come that much into that aspect, right? But then you arrive to these years, what we call adolescent stage. And then that starts changing things. You know, your biological system changes. You know, your thought process changes. The hormones that are driving you, so the character starts building. So you start getting modified into this personality. You know, your own being. You understand? So now, as adults, okay, think about you coming with somebody completely from two different strange environments, two different mechanisms of growing up, upbringing or whatnot. And now you want to make a relationship together work. You know, but the thing about that is though, it really is very, very difficult for you to try to manage somebody else's emotions without managing your own. It's very, very difficult for you to manage somebody's ways of communication when you don't even understand your own ways of communicating. it's going to be very difficult for you to try to grow or help somebody get out of their own way when you're dealing with some kind of, roadblocks that are impeding your growth, stuff that within. So you see what I mean? So it becomes really, really challenging. So when you arrive to having some challenging conversations, small, minute arguments, you realize that your patience is too narrow. It's so narrow that you're going to feel like you're being attacked. And because you feel like being attacked, you are going to feel warranted to provide some sort of a defensive mechanism. So out of that defensive mechanism approach, that's where the problem is going to start. Because now, somebody maybe had good intentions, but the way you received it was completely different, completely beyond your own comprehension or understanding. So you did not see the other person. Or perhaps your mind is playing games and trying to manipulate different characteristics within you. And then that makes it difficult for you to see you. And because you can't see you, now you cannot see the other person you're relating to. You understand? And this goes even just as far as even like a brother, sister, girlfriend, boyfriend, just friendship. When do you ever take time to learn yourself? Have you ever taken time to learn yourself? This is the right moment for you to take time to know exactly who you are. Even know how you want to relate to people, not just necessarily to yourself or family or close people, even outside. Learn different ways of relating. Understand different ways of loving. Understand different ways of love languages. The way you want to be loved is not the way somebody else wants to be loved. The way you relate to somebody does not necessarily mean that somebody else wants to be related to in that similar aspect or way. You understand? We have different ways of comprehending relationships, different ways of comprehending communication, different ways of comprehending our emotions, understanding our emotions. What's your role in it? How well do you understand your human personality for you as an individual before you worry about somebody else within that household? How are you managing relationships within that family, under that roof? How well are you guys doing now? Do you pay attention to your relationship? Is it becoming stronger or is it becoming weaker? Where are you? Have you even taken time to just gauge that for a moment? Is that even important to you? I know. So, as I talk with people, these are the common things I'm hearing. Oh, goodness. And these are not necessarily pertain just here like in the US where we are. I'm talking about on a global platform because I talk to people from all over. Okay? So the common things that come up is miscommunication. People just misunderstanding. People already boiling. People are already boiling. Their emotions are so high. They are overwhelmed that you say something wrong, even if it's not wrong, but it comes out as wrong to somebody's ears. Guess what? That sparks an argument. That can spark a fight right there. That just disrupted a communication, way. That just kind of disrupted a relationship, So the basis of relationships too, now during this isolation, stop going back digging into your past. And then bringing the past and then saying, oh, but you did this before, you did that before, you did that before. No. That's what's failing you. Whatever the problem is at hand right now, whatever is that moment, that specific moment, then now, looking forward, forget looking at the rear view mirror. I'm talking about now. Now, this very moment that you're sitting on the driver's seat, you're facing that way. That's the problem you need to handle at a given moment. First, take care of this. Let's understand why there was a problem here. Let's understand why there's a miscommunication here. Let's understand why your emotions are even boiling because of something I've said or because of some misunderstanding. Let's understand how well do you understand your personality, your traits, your characters, how you manage your emotions, mental adjustments before you can start attacking somebody else because of miscommunication. How well are you equipped? Are you even equipped? Are you even having these conversations though? At what capacity? You see, the thing about relationships too, you can have shallow relationships in terms of having shallow conversations. A relationship should not have boundaries in terms of what to talk about. When you make a choice to go relate to somebody, you don't know that person, but you made a choice to go there to get to know them, then you must know them. Take time to know them. You can't know them just on the surface. You have to know everything about that person. What are their flaws? What are their weaknesses? What are their strengths? What can you learn from them? What can you teach them? And how much are you teaching them? And do you know, the more you teach them, the better it is for you. You know, you get back what you give. If this relationship is filled with just always teaching moments, you know, when an argument comes, you know, don't allow it to disrupt your emotions and the mental mind. But instead, take a deep breath, relax, and learn how to listen. Just learn how to listen. But learn how to listen without any intentions to respond at that given time. But rather, to understand. To understand, so then you know how to provide feedback, effective feedback, you know, not carelessly. Pay attention to your emotions. What's disrupting your whole humanity right now? What's making you feel a bit like you're all over the place, so you're not stable? And why? Okay? And then, within a family setting, there is also this assumption, because we are within just one family, that we know each other well. That's not true. You know, do not pretend that you know your brother to the depth. Do not pretend that you know your sister, you know your father, your mother, whatever the situation may be. We are all humans. Humans with so much going on. Humans, by the way, that some are tolerating. You're tolerating so much because there's so much on the table too that, you know, you don't want to, whatever the situation may be. You know, there's also so much tolerance because maybe the investment is so vast. You know, you can't give that up. Or we are tolerating because we don't know any other way. Do you know there's also that? There's you just accepting something because you don't know any other way. Because you have not sought for second opinion. Because you have not educated yourself enough to understand what your needs are as you. What are your wants? Yes, I understand people don't want to be alone. They want to jump left and right, rushing into different relationships. You know, but the problem with that too is this. A relationship that you rush into is now a relationship that has no stronger foundation, is a bit shallow. The problem with that is this. When you start getting into this kind of isolations like we're having now, the longer it takes, the more we're going to start feeling squeezed in. The more you're going to start feeling like you're getting narrowed back into your box. You know, but your thought process always has to be with outside the box. Okay? But don't also allow it to be so challenging. You know, people allow emotions to throw them off. People allow an emotion to completely make them shut off from even understanding or knowing who they are. You know, just because somebody angers you, somebody says something and you misunderstood, and now all of a sudden, you allow your emotions and your mental mind to completely disrupt you, and now you become worrisome and angry and emotional and you're boiling. And you're going to realize hours later that, man, your mind has just been racing and racing out of stressful situation for absolutely no reason. For no absolute reason but misunderstanding, miscommunication, or the lack of. You know, or just the no care. You understand? So it's very challenging. You know, but you have to learn ways. You have to learn different ways of paying attention though. How well do you pay attention to you? You know, I tweeted something this week or last week. I said, you know, somebody else's feelings are not your business. In that you can't force somebody to feel certain ways. You cannot. You know, you cannot try to force somebody to feel certain kind of way towards you. You can't even, by the way, force understanding. You cannot even force acceptance. You know, but all those factors come from different influence. You know, how you approach that conversation, how you're communicating, how you're reaching out. You know, but most importantly, how well do you know yourself? Because that's the priority number one. How well do you understand you? That's the number one priority in understanding a relationship. You must know what you're working with as an individual. You know, what are you bringing to the table, at what capacity, and what are the intentions? Okay? So it's challenging time. Yes. Relationships are struggling right now and very, very much challenged. But you know what? We can manage. We can manage just fine. Think about, like, I'll give you an example. Like when I was deployed back in the day, I was deployed for a long time. But through that deployment, man, they just choose and just find a roommate or something and they say, okay, that's your roommate, that's your body, boom, there you go. A stranger, somebody you don't know. You even know them maybe just from within the same unit. But you don't really know their human personalities. You don't know, man. So it's all about starting to learn, learning that person, understanding their weaknesses before even understanding their strength. Because now I'm trying to learn someone that I know has to look out for my life. Somebody that I know will protect me. So the depth of that understanding becomes very, very important. So while I'm learning that next person or the next people within my own platoon, I have to keep learning myself too, because I have to pay attention how I'm communicating with all those people individually, how I respond to them individually, because every single one of them has different personalities, different characteristics. Yeah, we are one team, under the same flag, under the same uniform, but completely different personalities, completely different ways of even thinking. We come from different cultures, different environment, different perspective, different everything, but we must learn how to work together, and it works. So bring it to the common denominator, narrow it down within a household, within a relationship, within a family setting. How well do we take time to learn one another? Because this is very, very important. That's a family setting. That's us. The priority is like right there. Number one, how much do we care about rebuilding that relationship? And it's not necessarily, again, marriage, girlfriend, boyfriend. It could be father, son, mother, son. How good is that relationship? How well are you communicating? Do you talk about respect? Do we talk about, ethics, and do we talk about morals? Because emotions will throw you everywhere that you will forget everything that the good in you, and then you will just start throwing tantrums left and right because you're not equipped with your emotional management, mechanism, or perhaps you're forgotten. Okay? The worst you want to do is to pretend that you know somebody and then you want to just go and start throwing this and that towards them. Don't pretend that you know them. Always leave room for lessons. Leave room for understanding. Leave room, for examples. Leave room for, teaching moments. Leave room for patience. Leave room for attention to detail. Leave room just for you. For you to isolate yourself even within a crowd to be able to reflect enough. You understand? How is that working for you? Another thing is this. Ask questions. Ask a lot of questions. You must ask questions. I'll give you another example. In my unit, wherever I was stationed at in the U.S. Army when I was in the military, man, I don't think there's anyone in that unit that would ask more questions than me. I always ask questions so much, so many different times. Hey, people that were stationed with me, some of you are watching right now. I even remember there was a time when I was deployed and there was somebody higher up came to visit. And the first thing they said, where is Okech? We want to know where Okech is, meaning me. They knew I asked questions. It didn't matter who. I'm going to ask a question, So because of that, oh my goodness, they always wanted to make sure where I'm at. There are times when I've been told, no questions from you, none whatsoever. You know what I mean? Because I'm so inquisitive like that. I have a curious mind. I always ask questions and seek understanding where there's confusion or whatnot. But there's nothing wrong with that. Okay? But that's just an example. You must ask questions. Okay? Ask questions. Whatever thought process you think about, something comes to mind, you need to ask that question, okay? So we take time to learn one another. We take time to educate ourselves about us individually and educate ourselves about our family members, and we learn each other the best way we know how. Okay? What's going on? Any questions? Yeah? Okay. So yeah, but that's what it's about. You know, if you have a question or two, let me take time and I say hello too. Greetings, Ivan Paul. How are you? Margaret, greetings. Hi, Christine. Hi, Juan. What's up? Fred, what's going on? Matt Notieka, what it is? You know what's up? Hi, Christine. Nicole, what's going on? Nicole, see you soon. Okay, that's Auntie. Auntie Hildegard. Oh, greetings. Hi, sister. Awacha. Aneni. Okay. Owen, love. See what's up, the boys. What's going on? Okay? So, but yeah. Lakson, Abraham. Greetings, respect, love. Okay, so what's going on? Did we get this? Okay? What's your depth of understanding of relationships? How serious are you taking this? Might not take, I'll give you a call. Okay? Yeah. How well are you understanding this? Okay? So, remember this. Relationships are two strangers coming together to make it work. So don't pretend to know somebody when you actually don't. Take time to actually know someone you want to relate to. Do not pretend. You understand? Okay? Human personalities come in various characteristics. Don't assume you know somebody's personality. Let them educate you about who they are. Be patient, particularly with yourself. That's where it carries weight the most. Pay attention to details. Pay attention to your emotions. Pay attention. What triggers your emotional mismanagement? What triggers that emotional turmoil? Pay attention to that. And why are you allowing it to do it? You have to be able to catch yourself and say, wait. This cannot disrupt me. This is just, First of all, don't allow anything from the past to come and jeopardize your whole future. Okay? Be polite and considerate. It's very, very important. Seek understanding. Seek to understand before you understood. Learn how to listen and be very, very intentional. Learn yourself. You understand? Okay? But that's been it for today. Gotta get back to work. My love. Listen, take time to follow Warrior Solutions, okay? Follow us on Twitter, IG, we're on Facebook, we're even on YouTube. Share these videos, man. Let's help our communities grow out of our own ways and a worry-free mindset. That's what it's all about. My love.